I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Review the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Agenda is approved. Review the minutes from September 12th, 2022, meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved from September 12th. Is there a motion to approve the September 23rd special meeting minutes?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Meeting minutes are approved from September 23rd special meeting. All right, any open public comment? Done? All right, no guests? Good stuff.
Congratulations to our yard for a fantastic fall festival.
I thank you.
Yep. Very nice.
It was a good success, I think.
Great.
Yep, a lot of people. Fireworks were good. I think everyone had a good time.
It was a nice day.
Yeah. I think the firemen went through quite a few chickens, so.
Yeah. Did they sell out?
Yeah, they did. They bought, I think, 200, was it? And they had like 60 left over, 50 left over. So.
It was good though.
It was very good.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sold out of pies.
Yeah. Yeah, everything went fast, it seemed like. It was hungry. All right. Okay, Highway Department, Foreman Report.
That's our only item under this category, and just in addition to that, the Florence Road repairs are complete, and I plan on sending reimbursement tomorrow after we have all the invoices processed downstairs. And we've also started doing monthly tailgate / training meetings, and these will be included in your packets from now on. VLCT gives you a big wide variety, so we'll just pick from the list every month and go from there.
Did Pittsburgh finish their end of the Florence Road?
I think they're still working on it, I believe. A lot of concrete they had to pour.
Okay, anything else under Highway?
Kyle does a nice report, very informative.
Very thorough.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Kyle.
All right, is there a motion to go out of the board meeting and into the Board of Water Commissioners?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, the Foreman Report for the Water Commissioners.
Yeah, and the way Kyle is doing his reports, he just kind of has them all into one. In addition to that, the Gorham Bridge Water Project has begun. John Corliss is actually down there with Richard Reed now working on it. He came in here and gave me an update. John and Richard think that it would be a good idea to run a service for 23 Gorham Bridge Road. I don't have a map, so it's not really easy to show. Bruce was in the office actually when he stopped in, when
The
Richard
house, the trailer at the end.
I think when John Corliss first had this planned, he was thinking he had so many other projects happening, he just kind of wanted to get it done and move on. So I was curious why they were just putting in a flushing hydrant and not connecting the last home there, which is 23 Gorham Bridge. That currently runs, and Bruce, I think you are right, goes right through the yard of the house in front of them. It's a really long run to that next hydrant.
Yeah.
On Meadow. So the idea is for Richard Reed to get me a cost on what a change order would look like to run from the flushing hydrant and just run a service to 23.
Get it out of Chapin's yard because they were giving Zaluzny and Rick DuPont their a rough time 3 or 4 times.
So I was hoping for some numbers to give you all today, and I talked to John about it, but I don't think they had time to put them together. So, and it wouldn't be too difficult, because the way we did the contract was we had lump sum, but we also had it broken up into linear feet.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I don't have that number for you tonight. So if it does happen, it probably won't happen for a couple weeks. What we're asking them to do is just put a curb stop there, and we can make the extension if we need to. So that's it for my addition to the Foreman Report.
Okay. How about the credit supervisor report?
You know, this has been taking up a good bit of my time, but I feel like it's worth it because we're seeing some progress. And once we get a handle, once we get a uniform procedure in place, it's going to be really helpful to organize these notices. So I have not been credit supervisor while actual notices ever went out. So during an actual payment period, everything in red below about $2,000, I just don't have any evidence that a uniform delinquency notice was ever sent out. And if you look in the statute, you'll see that there is a uniform delinquency notice. That lets the homeowner or resident know that they have the option to make an agreement. In addition to this list, Joan Gorski is going to VHAP. Ryan Munette went to VHAP, and Edward Guyette went to VHAP. So that was starting from the top down. So we've got Gorski is about 1,800, and then Munette and Guyette are, I'm probably not saying their names correctly, but they're roughly about $1,100. So we have a lot of people that signed up for VHAP on that last round of letters we sent out, which is really good news. My plan is when we send out our next, on October 15th, we send out uniform delinquency notices to every single person that is delinquent over $15 per the statute, because I don't think that's the way it's been done in the past. I think delinquency notices were only going out to people with large arrearages, so like 750 and above, as per the report. And we've seen, I've already seen how that has provided a disservice to people, because even new people come in town, they don't know when utilities are due, they didn't get a delinquency notice. So if anything, these are just helpful reminders for people to come in and pay their bills, which I'm not sure they were getting in the past. And I've got a really quick and efficient way on NIMRIC to do that now, especially now that I have upgraded agreements.
Good.
And we're below 100,000.
Yeah, that's great.
On June 30th, when I took over, we were 135,000. And actually, I asked Celia where we were back in 2019. We were at 210,000. So it's coming down. Now that we've done kind of damage control, we create a system to where it doesn't go back up.
So all of these that are in the orange that have like no agreement on file, they were issued a letter though now, so that they are aware of their delinquency, because they've been delinquent quite a while.
The letters, what happens is, I can't send them a uniform delinquency notice. It has to go out 40 days after the day of delinquency. So it'll have to go out. So October 15th, I've got 40 days to send them a uniform delinquency notice. So, and they will get those starting. So all of these people starting October 15th will get a uniform delinquency notice. But they have gotten a letter saying that, oh, by the way, you are delinquent and you need to come in.
Okay.
So they have gotten
They've got that letter, okay.
I'm sorry. I should have started off with that. They have gotten just a letter saying, oh, by the way, you're delinquent.
And those haven't done anything about it since they've gotten those letters? Most of those?
Well, quite a few. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sign up for BHAP, and then actually the ones that did come in and pay aren't on this list anymore. So we had quite a few people just come in and pay their totals. So we had that one $3,500 paid in full. We had a couple people come in and just pay $600, which got them down to a low amount. So we had quite a few people just get off the list. And then we had a few people come in and make agreements. So the bigger agreements, you'll see Joel came in and made an agreement. David Carmen's been on here a while, but 12 Green Square.
So the question is it the expectation they're paying their regular bill also on top of this, or is the regular bill getting added to this and being delinquent? Because when you take some of the totals and what people are paying, they can't pay this off in a year, a lot of them. And it used to be the board directive when Stan was here, that people had to make agreements that that your bill had to be paid off within a year. So you took whatever the total was, divided by 12. It seems like that some people are just gonna stay on this list forever, because there's no way they could pay their current bill and pay this bill. So I'm just wondering how this list becomes self-sustaining then, or does it become self-sustaining?
Any new agreement that is signed with us, for people that have not kept up on their older agreements, any new agreement, it is their total in arrearage divided by 8. So they have to make 8, they have to make 8 payments. Now hold on, so some of these are not updated agreements. So like David Carmen, for instance, he does only pay $100, but he has been incredibly consistent with paying that over a year, 2 years. And he has an agreement with his signature on it downstairs. So I don't have any reason to nullify that agreement because he has been meeting his side of it.
But so all of these are paying their regular bill.
Yeah.
Total. They have to pay the whole thing each month, and then the agreement is just to pay off their delinquencies.
Correct. So that's the way it's set up. So I take their delinquency total, divide by 8, and that is so that they don't have to make a double payment on months where a current amount is due.
So some of these that you look at that owe over $3,000 and are paying $200 a month, there's no way they're going to pay that off in a year.
Lance Shue, for instance, he made that agreement before I took over as credit supervisor. Before we had the upgraded contract in place where Celia was still acting as that, and that is the deal that Celia made, and Lance Shue has been paying that consistently.
Is he paying when it's also due, like whatever the amount
Yes.
is? Okay.
So that is different with those past agreements as well.
Sure.
They're actually paying 12 times a month.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm checking, so it would take him 16, if you add in, it would take him close to 2 years to pay off the entire thing. If you add in the interest. But he's making the payments consistently.
Yeah.
Consistent.
I don't have any reason to stop him or give him
Yeah.
break the contract with him.
Well, if he's paying, then, it's enough,
Yeah.
quite a bit of money for a family, so,
And,
good.
And I checked with, and that's what I do with all these agreements every time we get into what I've started doing, because I haven't been doing it that long, but I just go onto the individual accounts on NIMRIC and I look to see if they made a payment last month. If they didn't, then they've broken their agreement. When we first started this list, I was a bit lenient and did it 2 months, but
Yeah.
now we're going back to monthly. I hope that answers your question.
The ones that are like in foreclosure, do they give you updates at all as far as where they're at?
I had just an informal conversation with the treasurer about that today, and I said, what's going on with these foreclosures, you know? And she said, some of them have just been taking forever.
No, I don't get that. Because that, especially, you know, I mean, if people are living in them, they're just gonna keep going up and up and up and up and up.
Well, and as, you know, you and I have discussed, Judy, you know, there are liens on all of these properties, and the idea is, you know, not to allow a new owner to take over
Right.
without having this paid off. And even if in some strange occurrence that did happen, I would do everything I could to refuse from making an agreement with them that they would have to pay that in full.
Right.
But it's not, I agree with you, it's not ideal that those are so high.
Right.
And the idea in the future is to not let that get high, get that
Right.
high.
All right, thank you. Field Street well house pump?
And then so we had a special meeting Friday and we spoke about this. I was able to go through some of our records and find invoices, and found one from Parker Wells. Unfortunately, a lot of the older, past 2019, are still in that closet over there, and I tried to go digging through it, and they were in the very back, so I couldn't get there. But I did reach out to Parker Wells, and they've ordered us a pump, and they think it's going to be probably between 30 and 40,000. That's his estimate on it.
Time period.
I asked him, I said, does November sound reasonable? And he said, November sounds like that might be the month it'll come in.
When you say pump, it's motor and pump, one
I
unit?
keep saying pump, it's just the motor.
Just the motor?
Just a motor. Yeah.
Anything else underwater? Is there a motion to go out of the Board of Water Commissioners and into the Board of Sewage Commissioners?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carries. Okay. Willow Street Sewer Project update.
So this is really the only addition I have to the Foreman's Report, and that is we have one more construction meeting, probably before the, and then after that, so the next, I think it's next week, we have a construction meeting. Oh, we changed it.
Okay, good, because I thought it was today and I spaced
No, I'm
out.
sorry. We changed it at the last meeting for some at the last construction meeting to be closer to the select board meeting. Got it on my calendar in there.
Yeah, I've got it here somewhere.
Would you
Yeah.
mind emailing me, please?
Yeah.
I was looking at my book this afternoon, and I went, oops.
What?
I've gotten one we did.
Well, I'll send it to you
Yeah.
this week when I know. And I know I think we pushed it back into October.
Yes.
And so I'll send you an email, and that should be our last construction meeting, and then we'll have our last,
So basically, we're done digging down there, we're waiting to pave and finish up, but the pipe is in.
Yeah, a little landscaping here and there, and some landscaping after the paving's been done.
Yeah, but I mean, our pipe's in and working,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it's all usable.
great, that was a very nice project. Could have gone south, but it didn't.
and really some huge hurdles to get over. I mean, when I first, my first 2 weeks I met with A&E here down there to get an idea of that project. When I saw the plans and that there was sewer 100 feet underground, I couldn't believe it. But we got right through there.
Watch is over.
Yes.
All right, nothing to add in the Foreman Report. Purchase bulbs for the wastewater treatment plant?
All right, so this is just kind of, I'm practicing due diligence here, and we've got to get some new UV bulbs for the wastewater treatment plant, not like flower bulbs. Somebody thought that's what we were doing, asked me about.
That's what I thought.
Oh, that's right.
Go ahead, say my name, it's fine.
So I just need a motion from the board so that we can purchase those.
Is there a motion to purchase UV lamps for the wastewater treatment plant totaling $2,166?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Is there a motion to go out of the Board of Sewage Commissioners and back to the Select Board meeting?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Managers report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Assistant Town Clerk Treasurer interviews ended today at 5:15 p.m. We have some really great candidates. We expect to make a phone call tomorrow, so hopefully we'll have somebody on board soon. I attended the ICMA conference in Ohio. It was a great time. Again, VTCMA funded this. I might end up having to do some kind of talk at the fall conference, tell them how great it was. And but really, Columbus was a cool town. Well, it's a city. And yeah, it was just a neat experience. Well, they had over 7,000 city managers there.
Wow.
Yeah, so I hung out with the Bozeman, Montana city manager for a while. He was kind of nice, and so it was really neat,
That's good.
experience. Yeah. So I've been working on policy preparation with the chair of the select board, and you have that in your packets, and we'll discuss that further in later on in the meeting. I reimbursed a submittal for Willow Street Sewer Project for a total of, we can say, approximately $516,000. I've continued as the grounds maintenance inspector. Well, I am the grounds inspections officer. I've reached out to our attorney to draft a grounds maintenance ordinance in violation for the Irving lot, just in case it does get down to that. It looks like someone came and cleaned it up, but
A little bit. Yeah, there's still the logs there.
yeah. So that's being worked on. I have a notice that I send out, but I think maybe we should practice due diligence on this one. And then Kane Street's 30-day compliance deadline is up, and it's now up to the board to choose if compliance has been met, and if not, how the town will move forward with enforcement. I drove up there yesterday. It looked like the trash out front that had been sitting there for a prolonged period, which kind of triggered the violation, was gone. So I'm not. That's about the update. Other than that, it hasn't changed any.
What number Kane Street is that? Is that a 9 or 10? Oh, it's the one.
22?
Yeah.
Could we move this to the next meeting, and that'll give us a chance to drive by?
Yeah.
If that's agreeable with everyone.
I think that makes sense.
And then maybe worth just taking a look at the ordinance and seeing what the fines are. I think it's $250 and then $100 per day per violation or something. So yeah, we'll get everything together.
And for the next meeting, can you get us a copy of the letter that was sent to them?
I can.
Thank you.
I can remember that. All right. I've made updates to our website and emergency contact list. I guess I meant to add this to the agenda, but it came in this morning. We had a water main break, so there's a boil notice on South Street. I was actually told by the state today when I sent them that boil notice that it's not really a good idea to give the homeowners an idea of when it'll end, because if it doesn't end, they'll think that it's okay to start drinking water. So we will reach out to them, to the homeowners, as soon as we get our tests back and know that the potable water is safe to drink and use. So that's been updated to the website. That's been added to the website. We also have our stormwater management plan advertisement out on the website for people to reach out to the Conservation District if they're interested in learning more about it. We awarded RFQs, request for qualifications, to Dufresne Group and Aldrich and Elliott. We've already utilized this by using Aldrich and Elliott to help us with the Field Street well diagnostics.
Would you, backing up just a little bit, would you mind emailing us some new emergency contact list? Mine's probably a year old. I don't think it's on the website, is it?
Oh, no, it's not on the website.
Yeah, no, I don't think it should be. No rush.
Yeah, that'd be good to everybody have a updated one.
Yeah. And then, where are we at here? Okay,
Purchase order.
RFQs.
yeah, they're helping us out there. Generated purchase order for the agreement for the toolcat. We were only offered $5,000 for a trade-in. Kyle and them did some research. They think we can get a little bit more for it at auction, so we'll probably take that route. Requested Aldrich and Elliott to submit an engineering service agreement for the wastewater treatment plant upgrades. Realistically, Jason Booth thinks that and Wayne Elliott thinks that the upgrades to the treatment plant probably won't happen until September 2024, and this just has to do with kind of backlogs at the state. So I've gone ahead and built a budget for ARPA funds to cover existing projects that we can discuss during budget season. And once we submit our ESA for the wastewater treatment plant rehabilitation, I'll know more about funding options, because I know that's what we really need to know if we're going to allocate ARPA money to the treatment plant. How much is it going to cost us? What's the subsidies going to be for the bond and all that? So we'll know here soon. I'm hoping within the next couple months after they submit that ESA. All right, and generated purchase order to the mission system. It should be installed as early as October. Dave Crawford has already ordered the necessary equipment and parts to make the changes. And then I worked with our yard to repair lights in the village green. I didn't do much there. They did most of the work. And then transportation grant audit. This happened a few weeks ago. The states just reached out to us to give them they reached out to us to give them a little bit more documentation. Celia was on vacation, and so she had two things that I couldn't find. We gathered them and sent them their way. And finally, I've continued my duties as credit supervisor, among others. So that concludes my manager's report.
Thank you. All right, action items. Everyone reviewed the bills and signed them?
Yes.
Yes.
Sheriff's report.
Before we, there was a invoices for, and I don't see it further on the agenda here, for the dump.
Yeah.
Let's talk about those for a minute.
I think it's in,
Dump day, Casella?
Yep. You know, we totaled $2,319 for 6 hours.
it's actually the next item on the agenda.
Oh, it is, okay, I can wait. Yep, let's do that, I'll wait, I'm sorry.
Any questions or comments on the sheriff's report?
So, yeah, and I'm thinking that Sheriff, we really, I'd like to see Sheriff Fox come to a meeting at some point. This is what I can't wrap my head around, and this has been an ongoing thing. To me, the 40 hours that we're contracting is to have a presence from the sheriff in town as our policing agency. And so, in situations where, if we were a town that didn't have a contract with the sheriff and someone called 911, they would still respond, I'm assuming.
They won't be accepting calls after October 1st.
The towns that-
Unless it's a real emergency. They aren't gonna dispatch anybody after October 1st.
After a certain hour?
No,
We need to,
all
You talking the sheriffs or the state police?
state police,
Oh,
your
state police.
911, they're not
Right,
going to,
but I'm talking about the sheriff. Like if someone called for an emergency in a town that didn't have a contract with the sheriff's department,
yeah.
they would still respond, I'm assuming. That's what I need an answer to, because for example, there was an incident that happened in this sheriff's report where there was a situation with a person who had to be restrained. 3 sheriffs had to show up and we've been billed for all of those hours.
Yeah.
Now, this wasn't something that was done because they happened to be sitting here. To me, it looks like they were called. And that's where it seems like it's almost double dipping, that we're paying for something that if we didn't have a contract, we'd get anyway. So that's where I really need some clarification from Sheriff Fox, because if, to me, the 40 hours is for them to be in town as a presence when they normally wouldn't be here. That's just my opinion. Now, if you guys don't agree, I totally understand, but it seems strange to me that we're paying for this. This is supposed to be above and beyond the coverage that we would get if we didn't have a contract with the sheriff.
His invoices look a bit different this year than they used to as well. So I'm not sure if they're charging us for the flat rate of the contract. They're just going up to it. So it might, the way they're doing it now might be like, we didn't exceed that amount. So, but this is the action that took place in town.
So for example, just to give you an idea. So on September 14th,
What page is it on?
it is page 3. So September 14th, Deputy Ricketts responded for 4.5 hours for use of force, aggravated assault in law enforcement, use of force, transport subject. Okay? That was the same incident as Deputy Cram, oh no, that was a different one, I apologize. It looked like to me, and I should have highlighted it, that they came for the same incident. It was 15 Main Street. And for some reason, 15 Main Street, assault on a law enforcement officer. So Officer Basson, 15 Main Street, assault on a law enforcement officer, out of control subject, protective custody, transport to hospital, case report. There's 10 hours, so 15 hours were billed for, and I don't want to say billed, but we were charged for 15 hours for that. That just seems...
But you don't know if those are the same cases, because their reports aren't consistent at all. You can't tell what it is.
Well, it's the same date and same time.
Yeah,
September 14th.
yeah.
2,100 hours.
The same incident. Yeah.
September 14th.
But one's on West Street, one's on Main Street, one's on Kane Street.
This one right here, 15 Main Street.
15 Main Street.
And this one right here.
Oops. Where?
So it
Let's see.
looks,
Yeah,
but 5
this
hours
one-
apart,
This one here,
5
and that's
hours.
15,
correct?
that's 15 Main Street.
2,100,
And then this
2,115.
one here,
1,600.
so, which is 10 hours.
This is a time, 1,600.
Right, that's when he
21.
that's when he came to the shift. But 2,100, 21 to 2, this is the time that he was
Yeah.
dealing with this situation.
The same,
And this was the time that he was dealing with this situation, at the same time, 2,100, 2,100. This is when he started
right.
his shift. And this is when he responded. I guess that's why we...
But you can't, because there's no like there's no 2,100 in here, this one. There's no, the only difference is the 1,600 at the same time.
So this response was from 2,100 to 2,200, and this response was at 2,100.
Right.
It's 2118.
Yep, to 2,200, and this one was 2,100. So 18 minutes after,
Right.
on the same day, 9/14.
Yeah.
I mean, I would question it more if they were consistent. I mean, I don't know where this one took place.
15 Main Street.
The other one has no,
The other one has no address.
no
but-
address
Yeah,
whatsoever.
but I'm sure it's the same.
I know, but I don't wanna just assume it is, cause,
Right, and the other thing we could find out is who is RC
Could
39?
ask and have it
Because
clarified.
that, I'm guessing,
I agree
is
with Ben.
this one. So I guess, or even Michael, if you can just ask the sheriff to just take a look at that incident and see what's going on. To me, it looks like it's the same incident, and that they were responding to a call.
I mean, all 4 of these right here are all the,
Well, and so this one's,
Bizarre,
this
yeah.
one's the same one, 2,100 hours. It doesn't say what the date is. Oh yeah, the 14th, same one, and it's assault on law enforcement.
right?
Yeah,
So I doubt that happened 3 different times on the same day.
no,
So all total, that's 19 and a half hours that we
No, but
lost.
the last one
That's-
says he was in both places then.
Oh, that's, yeah, good point.
So, I mean, I think their record keeping is a little slack, and we spoke to the sheriff about this before, about having officers record case numbers, record times, and 10 hours, that's not accurate, because he has more than one case there, so he should be required to break that up then.
So if you could just
Yeah,
clarify
they're very
that.
confusing.
Yeah.
The reports
I
are.
think it's a good idea to invite him to come to a select board meeting
Yep.
and address these issues. When we all pay the taxes, right? Doesn't that also fund the sheriff's department, your tax
Yeah.
dollars?
Yeah,
Plus
yeah.
Proctor pays basically a service fee, a contract for,
$86,000.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they're getting tax money to fund them. I mean, everybody
Yeah.
in the county helps to fund the sheriff's department through their taxes.
Yeah.
Plus, the different municipalities pay a contract fee.
right.
Sheriff Fox did, offer to come to the meetings.
Yeah.
Like quarterly, and we're in October, so we're probably close to that anyway.
Yep.
I'm sure he won't mind
No.
coming. And I can kind of brief him on this a little bit, so he's prepared to explain it.
Thank you.
And also ask, I'd like a clarification on the dispatching that is going to cease on October 1st.
And we could talk to them about that fuel surcharge. Gasoline's going down. I don't know if it's fast enough, but we can talk to them about that also.
So, Ben, with, say, 19 or 15 and a half hours, whatever, are you saying that that should be part of the 40?
No, I'm saying
Or
that
ask
if they responded to a call for an emergency, they would have responded to anyway, even if we were under contract. I don't think we should lose those hours. I think the contract is for them to be here and as a presence in our
Right.
town in times they wouldn't normally be.
Right, not inclusive of the emergency, but outside of the emergency.
And I do get, they charge us hours for the time that they're in court when they're prosecuting like a speeding ticket or something like that. I get that because they were here specifically for us at that time. But something like this that would have happened regardless if we had this agreement, I just feel like it doesn't seem fair to me.
So this is 2 weeks with 56 hours, so they charge us for the additional hours, we're invoiced for that?
I don't know. That's the other question.
He did say the last time he was here, some weeks are high,
even it out,
the
yeah.
next week will be lower. He
Yeah.
tries to average it out.
Well, that's my question then, how do you figure the invoicing piece then?
The sheriff's invoices have, and this is why they're different from what they were, they used to just be a lump sum.
Yeah.
And I don't have the contract with me, so I can't give you the monthly charge that they are not to exceed, but they do have it broken down in, their quantity is in hours in their new invoices.
So I guess that, but that's my question with Ben's clarification. If you're just paying that amount that's divided by 12, are you paying additional on top of that? Or you're just paying
We're just paying this.
just whatever the division by 12 is?
So, I mean, if that's the case, then it's just a record-keeping thing, that they were here for 16 extra hours, but we're paying this in. I'm fine with that. It's wonderful. But I just want to make sure that's the case.
But it is weird they don't show up on things like Fall Festival, we didn't see them, fireworks, not around. And there were a couple things going on in town on Saturday, so I think they might have like been through town, but they weren't.
Okay. That's all I've got.
Okay. Discuss opening of the transfer station this fall. Have the amounts from last time that we did it.
Yeah, if my math's correct, for like 6 hours, we spent $2,319.30. And I don't see where this includes the labor of the town crew. This is just invoices from Casella.
Right, yeah.
So I would dare say we could add on another, they had to get the dump ready, they had to be there that day. They spent hours afterwards, the following week cleaning up. You could probably tack on another $1,000 there easily, I'd say. That's an expensive 6 hours.
So the only reason I included it on there is because people have reached out to us to ask. And I think it is an excellent discussion to have. On top of that, I've added in my notes, I'm kind of going back and forward with this Rutland County Solid Waste District, and this could just be a misunderstanding from a new town manager, but we are being charged a tonnage fee for permitting, which is a bit confusing. Mark Shea's talked to me about it on the phone, but he hasn't responded to any of my emails. So before I pay it, I'm looking for clarification in writing.
So you mean when they issue permits to us, they're charging the town for a certain percent of the time?
There's just a lot of confusion behind it because we've paid Casella per tonnage.
Right.
So that, under my mind, that's it, it's done. And I even spoke to Randy with Casella and shared him the invoice. He said, yeah, that's exactly what we charged you. So it's been 4 or 5 times I've been back and forth with Mr. Shea about why are we being charged the exact same tonnage that we've already paid Casella for to transport there. So.
No.
Well, but it's getting handled. I mean, he hasn't reached out back to me, but he also hasn't sent me another invoice. So, if I do get another invoice in the mail, you know, I'll just repeat the cycle that I need some clarification in writing why we're being charged this. So yeah, a motion would be nice whether we're gonna do it or not.
Huh? If we're gonna have a dump day?
Yeah, whether we're gonna have a dump day or not.
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of late to think about that for this fall.
It's been scheduled, so no, I don't have an issue with it. You know, we agreed to it, so. But,
I think it was supposed to be last weekend, wasn't it?
It was supposed to be when you had hazardous waste
Yes, yeah.
and it didn't happen.
I think the idea was to have it during the hazardous waste day the last time, but yeah, I could be incorrect that we were thinking about doing it again this time. So,
well, just something to think about next time we
Do budgets.
talk about dump day, you know.
So no dump day.
well, I mean,
I wish we went back
it
to
was a lot
having
of
a
work.
dump
I bet I burned a lot of calories that day.
24/7 instead of Casella.
I'm wondering if we should if we're gonna do it going forward, we should just do it in the spring.
Yeah, because if we don't use the dump, then they're gonna have a hard time.
We're doing the transfer station permit.
Right.
And if we ever needed a transfer station again,
And
At least if we do it once a year.
in the way I understand it, if we don't use the dump, then we have to close it. And
Yep.
closing's
Yeah.
gonna cost us.
and
Cost us big
and I don't know
bucks.
how we would ever get a transfer station again.
Oh, you'd never, well, with the requirements today,
Yeah. Certainly not down there.
No. Yeah.
I think we should think about doing it in the spring.
Okay. And that would be good, because we got budget season coming up, and we can prepare a court, you know. Prepare responsibly. All right.
And then, you know, that does seem pricey, but trash is pricey today. There's no getting
Yeah.
around it.
Okay. Discuss membership into the Vermont Municipal Employees Retirement System.
I think this is just purely for discussion at this point. I was gonna invite someone from, this is also known as Beamers. I was gonna invite someone from Beamers here tonight, but the expert, subject expert, was sick. So, I've also included some cost estimates. We're already under, the staff that already has the option to enter into a 457 deferred plan that the town matches up to 5% after 3 years of continuous service. If we were to switch over to, most of the Beamer stuff I'm clear on. If we switch over to it, there's Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, or Plan D, and the town of Proctor is really only open to, is available to Plan A and B. So if the select board made a motion, which I'm not asking for, but if the select board did make a motion to join Beamers, what you would do is you would say, we make a motion to join Beamers where all employees will be under Plan B. So it won't be up to the employee to choose which plan they're in. So that's kind of important to know. And then currently we, you know, we budget about $10,000 for our current plan. If we moved over to Beamers and you did Plan B, which is a really good one, really competitive plan, well, it makes the town competitive for hiring, then you're looking at $25,000 if everyone joined in. So you're going from $10,000 to $25,000 with B. A would be like $20,000. Now the tricky part with this is we match, and this is what will be helpful when the expert comes here. We currently already match under the 457 deferred plan. So I don't think it would be sustainable to be able to do both. So we'd have to find out what the logistics for that would be to support current staff to properly manage their funds in the case that we do make a switch.
What's the percentage that they put in now, that the employee?
5%.
And we match 5%? So in Beamers it'd be higher.
So if I'm reading this correctly, if we wanted to join as of July 1st, we don't have to make up our mind until December 31st.
Yeah.
So we have time. I don't think we would want to join before July 1st because we'd have to get it in the next budget. So I would say, let's get the expert in the next meeting or meeting after and
Great idea.
discuss it
Yes.
from there.
Yeah. Judy, does the city use the Vermont state?
Yeah, we have two, well, we have the older employees have a city pension, and then the newer ones have Beamers.
Have good luck with it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we have the Plan B too, yeah. Then there's some retirees that have a different plan, and there's some others that have a different plan, depending on the contract, so.
Yeah, so under Plan B, it's 6.5%. And under Plan A, the town's just matching 5%, which is kind of the same thing we're doing now. But the reason it would be different is because we make people wait 3 years to get in, so that's why we're not as high yet. And this is arguably a better retirement.
Yeah.
plan than what we
And
offer
usually
now.
these, you're not vested for 5 years, so any money you put in for 5 years is yours, but anything the town puts in isn't yours if you leave before 5 years.
That's a good safeguard.
So,
It's a good way to ensure longevity too.
Yes, it is.
yeah. So I think definitely worth it, we put it on the radar.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's actually mandatory in the city. You have to be in it. You don't have a choice.
All right, so we'll have a guest at a meeting coming up soon.
Of
We'll
what?
have a guest at a
Okay.
meeting coming up soon.
Okay. Be nice to have a guest.
Yeah.
All right. The first draft for the personnel policy review. Everybody got that in their packet?
Yes.
One read it from front to back?
No,
No.
started.
I could wrap my head around a water pump, but this is a little difficult for me.
So we don't have to choke it all down tonight or anything, but I think it's usually common practice, if you're gonna make a policy change like this, of this magnitude, you know, you present it, you make it public, and then you revisit it and work on it and pass it. So this is just kind of the first step in the process.
Great.
I would really like another 2 weeks to just really
Oh.
go through
At
it.
least. Yeah.
There's a lot here.
You know, to help you out a little bit, I did make notes on what I felt were big change highlights, and then I've also given you a hard copy of our existing plan that you can kind of match up with. This is, so just for, you know, clarity and transparency, this has not been, you know, established as any policy. It's something that you and I worked on, and it is open to the public, so if anyone does want to see it, it's in my office. Available for review.
Okay, so we'll put it on for the next meeting as far as potential approval. Hey, we have review of health officer's application. So did everybody get a copy or no?
No.
Okay. So, we do have one from James Gray, an application, and one from John Jazowick. So I don't know if anyone has,
I'd like a little more time to consider the options.
okay, well, one doesn't live in Proctor.
Does that matter?
I looked it up real quick and I didn't see it
I
anywhere.
don't think there's
but
anything.
I would probably say it's favored.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of appointed, but I don't know. I'm really loving the job.
Well, if you want to keep it.
I think Judy has done a fantastic job.
And we move to take it under advisement. And,
Second that.
Favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Under advisement until the next meeting.
So you got a couple of spare hours a week?
Yeah, I just sent home doing what.
We'd buy you a little uniform and everything. Yeah.
And a golf cart you could drive around with a little bit.
I didn't get a uniform.
We'll get you one.
I got a little badge, I
Yeah.
think. All right, appoint a committee to review current collection methods and procedures.
So, yeah, there is pretty clear policy on utilities, but I'm not sure that we have one on tax sale. And that was one thing that when I spoke to the auditor was surprised that our delinquencies were so high in both taxes and utilities. And he said a common way he saw that solved in most localities was that the select board set a limit for what delinquency can be, and it triggers tax sale, so that made me think it might be a good idea for some type of policy to be drafted to guide staff and appointed or elected officials on what the procedures would be and the expectations of the board are. My advice would, on this committee, would have 2 members from the board, the treasurer, who is our delinquent tax collector, so you definitely want her to have some kind of input on it, and then, 2 more people if they chose to max it out at 5.
So is there a policy for VLCT as a template?
No, but some other localities have adopted policies like this, collections policy, that we could use as reference during our reviews. But and I said no, that might be incorrect, I haven't found it. But the VLCT might have one.
That might be helpful to select the committee after we've seen some templates.
Or we could just appoint a committee and then they can review the templates and,
Do the legwork and then the board can just, the committee can present it. I would be happy to serve on this committee.
thank you, Ben. Is there anyone else? Linda? All right, there we go.
I'll set everything up for you all. I plan to be there as, the staff representative, and I'll do my best to make sure that the delinquent tax collector wants to be a involved stakeholder. And hey, we'll reach out to 2 more people. Sure.
Okay.
Are you making a
That's
motion
okay.
now?
Yeah, can we do a motion? Is there a motion to appoint Ben and Linda to the committee to review current collection methods and procedures for delinquent taxes?
Did you say Lisa?
Oh, Lisa, you raised your hand? Oh, okay, all right. I missed it. Hold on, let me start over. Is there a motion to appoint Ben and Lisa and Linda as a committee member to review current collection methods and procedures for delinquent taxes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor? Aye, okay. Motion carries. Hires our committee.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Okay, is there anything else in the select board meeting? There is, the need to enter the executive session in accordance with 1 VSA 312B to discuss personnel matters. A motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
And,
I'll second.
yeah, can we add one more thing to that?
So the executive session?
Yeah. Just a quick
Discuss a
discussion.
potential contract, right? Sorry, I was meant to tell you at the beginning of the meeting.
Say it again?
What?
To discuss a contract.
We can discuss it, we can't make action on it if it wasn't on the agenda. Right?
What is
Yeah,
the
you're right.
contract? Discuss a contract for?
What do you?
The
OCW.
I was doing that talk fast thing. Not on
Okay.
purpose.
Session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Would you like to go downstairs?
Yeah, we can go.
Yeah.